Well, uh, mm, in this very simple, very simple video tutorial, I'm going to demonstrate to you on how you can create a new report in iHRIS. If you install an iHRIS instance, it comes with a number of predefined reports. But what if you have a new report? Or what if a manager comes to you, your boss comes to you and asks you, I need this kind, and I need this type of report, and it's not there in iHRIS. So these are the steps that you can just follow. They are very simple steps that you can follow, and you can have your new report based on the new requirements from the management or from even yourself. Now, before I show you the steps for creating a report, I want to build the foundation for reports. I will start by showing you a very simple a sample report that exists in the instance which I'm demonstrating the steps for creating a new report. I'll go on the staff directory report. This report has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 columns which have been combined to form this new report. As you can see, there is surname, there is first name, there is position, there is department, there is facility. In report, these are called columns, but when it comes to iHRIS, for example, surname, this is a field which is used to collect information in one of the forms which exist in iHRIS. iHRIS has several forms. We have a form for adding demographic information. There is a form for adding education information. I will show you how those forms looks like. But what I want to say is, these in any report we call these columns, but these are the fields which belongs to one among the forms in iHRIS. Let me show you an example of a form first before I go ahead. Suppose that I want to add a new health worker into the system. The steps to do that is I just go to manage people, and then I'll click on add person. Then I'll be presented with a form where I can add initial information of a health worker, like last name, first name, middle name, previous name, and others. So this is a form. As you can see, it has fields. So a form has fields. You have one last name field, you have first name field, you have middle name, nationality, and others. So you have a form and you have fields inside a form. So going back to our report, you can see we have surname and first name. So these are the fields which belongs to this form, which is called person form. We also have position. This is also a field. So any column in a report is a field. So we have position. Position is also a field in another form. Position is a field in a form called the person position. We also have department as a column in here, but department is a field under position form, as well as facility is a field under position form. So we have we have surname and first name, which belongs to the person form. We have position field, which belongs to the person position form. We have department and facility, which belongs to the position form. We have work telephone and work email, which belongs to the person work contact form. Right? So we have person form, we have person position form, we have position form, and we have person work contact form, which have been combined together to create this report. So we have 4 different forms which have been combined together to create our new report. So that is the basics. So if you think of creating any type of report, you first need to identify what are the fields that I need in my report. What are the columns that I need to show in my report? Once you identify the columns that you need to identify, then you'll need to understand which forms has my fields. I'll give you an example of a form. For this demonstration, let us create a open gedit. Let's use, suppose that we want to create a report that shows number of health workers by gender. Suppose that I want to create a report that shows number of health workers by gender. Now, the first step, as I said, I need to identify the fields or columns that that should show up in my report. In my report, identify put it like this. And then step number 1, you need to identify fields that should show up in your report. So we say fields, we can also say columns. So for example, for our report there, we need to create a report that shows number of health workers by gender. So the first column that should appear in my report is first name. I also want surname. After that, because I need a report to show gender, I will need what? Gender. Now I have the columns. I have first name, I have a surname, and gender. Coming back to this sample report, I said that we have various columns which have been displayed, but these columns are coming from from different forms. So those forms have been combined together. So the second step that I'll need to do is I'll need to identify forms for which my fields belongs to. So without identifying the forms, there is no way I can combine those forms together. So the second step is I will need to identify the forms for which my fields belongs to, right? So for example, I have first name and surname. I need to know the name of the form for which this first name and surname belongs to. If you don't know the name, there is an easy way that I'll show you how you can get the name of the form for which your field belongs to. For me, I understand. So the thing that we need to understand is, if I want to add first name and surname of a health worker, what are the steps that I'm following? Or where am I adding first name and surname? In which form am I adding first name and surname? If I want to add gender into the system for a health worker, where am I adding gender? What are the steps? Which forms am I adding gender for a health worker? That's what you need to know if you don't know the name of the form. So, for example, if I want to get the name of the form for which first name and surname belongs to, what I can do is I'll follow the steps or I can go to the form where I'm adding first name and surname for an employee. It's simple. When I want to, first name and surname is filled when I'm adding a new health worker for the first time. So I can just go to add person. So I have the form. This is the form where first name and last name are filled. So what I will do is, I don't know the name of this form. What I can do is I can just right click on the field and then click on inspect element. Clicking inspect element, you will see the name of the form and the field have been highlighted by your browser. So for example, in here, You see there is form. The name of the form was person, and then the name of the field is surname. So surname belongs to person form. You can also confirm by default also first name should belong to person because both of them are the same form, but I can show you. I can right click and click on inspect element. First name has also been highlighted, so you have person, fields, first name. So you have form, person. So the name of the form is person, and the name of the field is first name. So now I know first name and surname both belongs to person form. Identify forms for which my fields belongs to. So I have my first form is person. Now I know first name and surname belongs to person. Now I need to know gender. Which form has gender? I know when I'm adding demographic information of a health worker, there is where I'm selecting gender of that health worker. So I can just search randomly for any health worker and go directly to that place where I'm adding, selecting gender, and then right click on it. I'll be able to see the name of the form. Simple like that. Can just close this one. Search people. Search. I'm opening any health worker. Then I'm going to demographic information. I can just click on update this information. Once I'm there, this is gender. I can just right click and then inspect element. So I have my field which have selected to be inspected has been highlighted by default, and I have for demographic fields gender. Oh, now I know gender belongs to demographic form. That's it. Now my second form is gender. Now I know the fields that I need to be displayed in my report. I know the forms that those fields belongs to. Third step. Now we need to combine together these two forms. As you can see in this report, we have surname, first name, position, department, both from different forms displayed together simply because they have the forms for which these fields belongs to have been combined together. So what I'll do is in step number 3, I'll need to combine together forms for which my fields belongs to. Now to combine together the forms, need to do the following. You just click on configure system. Under configure system, I'm sure you always see this link, form relationship. Here is where you can create a relationship of your forms, or you can combine together your different forms that make up your report. So I can click on it. Scrolling down, you have an interface wherever you can define the name of your relationship, of your form relationship, and other information. So I need to define the short name, the relationship short name. The relationship short name should be a single word. So for example, I can give this relationship short name, let's say health workers by gender. As you can see, I'm putting underscore between the words because the short name should have single word. So if you want to have more than one word in your report, then you need to put underscore character to combine your different words. So the other thing is you need to put the display name. This is the name which will be displayed to someone in front at the front end. This one is at the back end. This should be the name which is going to be displayed at the front end. So I can just health workers health workers by gender. Description of a relationship. If you want to put in description, you can put it blah blah blah. If you don't need, you can just skip it. Then this is the important thing. To construct a new form relationship, you will need to first choose a primary form. Now we need to define a primary form for our new for the relationship that we are going to create. We have person and gender forms that need to be combined. Now we need to define which among these should be the primary form, or which form in iHRIS should be the primary form or the parent form, for which that parent form we can easily add the rest of the forms. So for example, in here you have person and gender. So by just looking, there is no way you can have, oh sorry, I did a mistake, this is not a gender. Identify forms, this is not gender, this should be demographic. Sorry, this is the demographic form. Now, either primary person or demographic, one of these should be the primary form. But by just looking, there is no way you can have demographic without having person. So I can just say person form is a parent form and demographic is a child. So it's best to add person first before demographic, because once person is there, then demographic can also be added, can also be easily added in person. So I can say person is my primary form or my parent form, and then demographic is the child form. So I'm selecting person as a first form to be added in my relationship. So I'm selecting person as the primary form of my relationship. After that, just click on update so that my relationship should be saved. So my relationship has been saved. It is here. Going back in here, I have already added person because I've selected it as a primary form, so it is already there. What I need to do is to add the demographic on the relationship. To add it, I'll just click on edit so that I can add my second form. I'll click on joined forms and then I will click on add new child form so that I can add demographic. Click on this, select a child form to join to this form. So person has all these forms as child forms. So I just need to find the demographic and then select it. So demographic is here. I've selected demographic. Short name for that form, I can give it any name, but for me I'm giving demographic. Display name, demographic. Description, I can just keep it. Add. So if you click on join forms, you'll see demographic has been added. Now we have already combined together forms for which our fields belongs to. Now we have the forms combined together, meaning that we have combined together all fields that belongs to person form and all fields that belongs to demographic now have been combined together. But in our report, we say that we need to just display first name, surname. Let's say we also need to display middle name. But in our report, we just need these 4 columns, 1, 2, 3, 4. But we have combined 2 forms which have more than 4 fields. Now we need a way to limit the number of fields to be displayed. Number 4. we select the fields that should be available in our report. Right. Select the fields that should be available in your report. We need to select which fields should be available in your report. Looking at this report, our demo report, staff director report, looking at it, it has columns, but at the bottom you have these which we call filters. So we have in a report we also have filters. So in this step we are also going to select. So I can say step number 4 has 2 steps. We select the fields should be available in the report, and then we select fields that should appear as filters in our report. Now, what are the steps for selecting the fields that should be available in your report? So we were here in creating the form relationship, but in here there is no way you can see fields for this form. For example, demographic. There is no way you can see the fields. You can see the fields so that you can select which fields should show up in your report. To do that, we need to create an interface which will bring together all the fields which can bring together all the fields. So to do that, you can just click on configure system. Once you click on configure system, you go to reports. In the previous step, we clicked on this form relationship. We are now going to reports. Scrolling at the bottom, so we are creating an interface which can bring together all the fields for all the forms which we have combined it together, so that we can select which fields to be displayed in our report. We give the short name for the report that we are creating. We are here now. When we are in form relationship, we also created an interface for a form relationship. We give it a name, short name. We are now in reports. We are then asked to define the short name for our report. So I can call it, let's say, short name, the same name. I can just give it health workers by gender. Then which relationship you want to use. We have already created the relationship which has 2 forms. Now we need to pull that relationship so that we can pull all the fields for that relationship, and then select just some fields which we need in our report. Now if you scroll at the bottom, you will see your the relationship that you created, which is this one. Then we put the display name, which is for us health workers by gender. Category. Now these are the so-called categories. If you create a report, it should belong to a specific category. So for example, in here our report is a staff report, so we need to put it under staff reports category. So I can just copy this and paste it in here. But if you want your report to belong in a different category or in any category that is not in here, you just type in that new category. For me, I just need my report to appear or to show up in the staff reports category. Description, You can put description for the report you are creating, or you can skip it. It's up to you. Then I save my report. So I have created the interface whereby I can use it to select the fields that I want to be available in my report. We have created the interface. Now we need to select the fields. To do that, I just go directly to the staff reports category, and then I will find my new my new report. Then I'll click on edit, and then I'll click on reported forms. So once you click on reported forms, you will see your two forms which you combined together in the previous step. We combined together demographic and person form. Demographic is in here. You can see person is not written person. Why? It's just because the name of the relationship is the one which is displayed here. Why? It is because the person form, we define the person form as a primary form for our report, for the relationship. That's why person form is carrying the name of the relationship. Now I should be able to click on the person form and see the all the reported fields for person form. Now you see we have so many fields for the form for the person form, but we just need 3 fields to be shown in our report. So that is the point of creating an interface whereby we can use that interface to define the fields to be shown in our report. So I want first name to be shown. You see this text? This is the column header. As you can see in here, the header text which is displayed for the field. So this is the column header. If you are comfortable with this name, you can just leave as it is. If you're not comfortable, you can edit to reflect the column name that you want to be displayed to end users. For me, I'm not comfortable. I need to be shown as first name. And then I want other name, so I'll select other name and edit it to be middle name. Then surname, edit it to be, I don't want it to be displayed as last name. I want it to be shown as surname. Now I want to display first name as a filter. I need someone to be able to filter this report by first name. Suppose that I just want to know the gender of Ali Shaban, but I have 4,000 records. I want someone to be able to put in Ali, maybe first name Ali, and then let's say surname Shaban, and click on apply limits, and then Ali Shaban should be shown up, or anyone whose first name is Ali and surname is Shaban will be shown up in that report. So to do that, I'll click on limit options. Various limit options will be displayed. You have between, you have contains, you have equals. What this means? Equals means that if you select your filter to have the equals condition, meaning that if someone is searching for first name Ali, which is spelled as A-L-L-Y, if someone type A-L, then A-L-L-Y is not going to be shown as a search result. Why? Because A-L is not equal to A-L-L-Y. For A-L-L-Y to be shown, someone must type in A-L-L-Y. That is the meaning of selecting equals. But if you want to limit by contains, if for example, contains means if someone is searching for A-L-L-Y, it's not necessary that someone type in A-L-L-Y, can just type in A-L. Clicking on apply ID means then everyone who has first name with AL will be shown in the report. So there are various ways of selecting these limits. For first name, from this tutorial, I will use equals. And then this is the name which will be displayed as the filter. Looking in here, so this is the name for the filter, similar to this one. So I'll format it in a proper way. So I have first name as my filter, and then I need surname to be also a filter. I don't need other name to be a filter. Limit option, just echo, and then surname. Then I'm done with the person form. Then I'm going to demographic form so that I can select gender. Click on demographic, reported fields. So I'll just select gender and then format it, the column header, and then I want to display gender as a filter. Someone should be able to, I want to select female health workers or male health workers, so I need to display gender as a filter. And this for this tutorial, I'll just use echo gender. That's it. I don't need marital status. I don't need count of birth. I don't need dependents. I just want gender for demographic as far as my new report is concerned. Right? Now I can click on update so that I save. Okay, so my report has been saved. I have selected the fields that should be shown up in my report. That is step number 4. We are not done. We are going to the last step. Up to this point, our new report cannot be shown to end users. It's not shown to end users. Why? It's just because we haven't yet published the report. We have just brought together for different forms. We have also selected fields or columns to be shown in a report. So the last step is we need to publish this report to end users. If we don't publish it, users won't be able to see it. So we need to publish the report. We will also need to publish the fields. We publish the report and then we publish which fields to be shown. For example, in this step, you can decide to select even more than, for example, our manager, let's say, requested us to show a report which has first name, surname, middle name, and gender. In this step, you can decide even to select more fields apart from the ones which have been requested. And when you come to this step number 5, and then when publishing, you can decide to publish only those fields which have been requested. Right? I can give that example. Suppose I'm also selecting marital status to be shown. So I have added marital status in here. I have selected it to be shown in a report. But my boss or my manager who requested this report don't want marital status in the report. So I can limit that in step number 5. So step number 5, publish a report, publish report and fields. So we select we publish the report and we select the fields to be published to end users in step number 5. To publish a report, you need to go to report views. And then you scroll down as usual. We create an interface for publishing a report. The name of the report that we need to publish, the name of report view. Going back in here first, as you can see, the first step was we clicked on form relationship. We created relationship of our forms, and then we created a report whereby we selected the fields to be shown in your report, and then these links have been arranged from relationship reports and then report views, whereby we publish our new report. Now, name of the view, just give health workers by gender. The other thing you need to know, it's not necessary that the form relationship name, report name, and report view name have the same names. You can put different names, but for me, I don't want to give different names. Now, description. Here is very important to put description, because this report is going to be displayed to the end user. This name is going to be displayed and the description. So if someone read at the name of the report and don't understand what are the contents or what does the report provide, you can put some description so that someone can easily understand what is this report for, what type of information I can get from this report. So it's important to put the description when publishing a report. Why? Because this report is going to be displayed to the end user. Now I can say report that displays or lists number of health workers with the gender. Then I will need to select the report to use. This is the report which I created in my previous step, the one whereby I selected the fields to be shown. So I want to publish it, so I'll select it. So I'm selecting my report for which I selected fields to be shown in my new report. Now I'm publishing that report. I've selected it and then I click update. So my report is there, and I expect my new report to be available under staff reports. Then I'm scrolling down. Health workers by gender is here. I'll need to click on it, click edit, so that I should be able to publish fields. I have already published this report, but I haven't published any field. So my report is now displayed to end user, but it is blank because no field or column that have been published. So I click on edit. As you can see, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns, but my boss said I just need 4 columns, please. So I will select first name because my boss wants it, middle name, surname, and gender. I'm not selecting marital status because it's not needed. Now I have selected to publish these 4 fields or columns, and then I need to rearrange these columns. I want surname to be the first column. So what I can do is I'll drag surname to the top, and if you want middle name to be here, you can just drag it up, or if you want it down, you can just drag it down like this. So I'm done, and then I'll click update. Wow. So I have already published columns. So the report should now be ready with columns with 4 columns published. You can publish more columns at any time by going back to report views, or you can rearrange various columns by just going to report views. Now I need to generate this report so that my new report should be populated with health workers. Under staff reports, have these health workers by gender. Just click on generate first. So my report has been generated. Now if I go to view report, scrolling down, under staff reports, I should be able to view my health worker by gender report. Wow, it's here. So I have surname, first name, middle name, and gender. and I have my three filters selected. So I can filter by gender, male or female. For example, if I want to male health workers, I can just select and then apply limits. Now we have 6,912 male health workers. That's it. Thank you for listening.